Hello, mathematicians, and welcome to our very first instructional video for Unit 1. Our learning target today is I can find the factors of numbers less than 100. So let's get into it. How can you tell numbers are divisible by a factor? So all of these questions over here on the left side should be answered by the notes. All right, so we are looking at the rules for whole numbers between 2 and 10. You can just punch it into your calculator, or you can look back at your notes and be like, right, if it's divisible by 2, the last digit is even. Now, am I expecting you to memorize all these rules? Heck no! You have these notes. You can use these notes at any time you need. You'll notice that number 7 is highlighted a little different. That's because that rule is kind of complicated. So if that's not a useful rule, you don't have to use it. All right? So now let's look at some examples. So we're going to find the factors of 12. The way I think of it, the first thing I thought of was, I'll just make a list because I know 12 times 1 makes 12. I know 3 times 4 makes 12. And I know 2 times 6 makes 12. So if I were to list all the factors of 12, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Now, when I ask you to list them, I do want them in counting order. You'll notice I started at 1 and organize them so as we go up, the numbers get bigger. So this is great, but what if you forgot about 2 times 6? You would get this question wrong. So instead, let's use the rainbow method. So you can see here, not a perfect rainbow, but we start at the bottom. We always start with 1 on the left side. And so 1 times 12, we know that, 1 times 12. Then on the left side, we go to the next whole number, that's 2. Well, we know 2 times 6 is 12. And then from 2, we go to the next whole number, which is 3 times 4 is 12. Now, there's no whole number between 3 and 4, so we're done. There are no other factors. When we're talking factors, it's only whole numbers. No integers, none of that, just whole numbers. So now we have all of the whole numbers in counting order that you could easily write down. All right, so now let's go to 36. So here's 36. So again, we start with 1 and we do 36. And then we go to 2. Okay, so 2 times 18 is 36. Then we go to 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2, so we know 3 is a factor, and that would be 3 times 12 is 36. Now we go to our next whole number, 4. 4 times 9 is 36. 5 is not a factor, because in order, if we look at our rules, the last digit is 5 or 0. Well, 36 is not divisible by 5 because it's not a 5 or a 0 at the end. So then we move on to our next whole number, and 6 times 6 is 36. There's no other whole numbers to go. So we know all the factors of 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, 36, just like that. Pretty straightforward and easy. So now let's do another example. I'm going to pick dark blue. We're going to do number 51. Now, you might look at that and say, that feels like a prime number. That feels like it might not have any factors. Let's double check ourselves. So, does it end in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8? No. Okay, so we know from our rules that 2, 4, 6, and 8 are all out. That leaves 3, 5, 7, 9, and 10. Oh, and 10's out. 3, 5, 7, and 9. So if we add 5 plus 1, that's 6. So let's look at our rules. The sum of the last digits is divisible by 3. That means for 51, we have 1 times 51. It's not divisible by 2, but 3 times 18, because The digits are 6. 6 is divisible by 3. 3 times 18 is 51. It's not divisible by 4, 6, or 9. So now we have our factors of 51. Double check me on this. Always double check me. Now you'll notice the what vocabulary did I hear in the video. This is for you to fill in yourself. So remember, if you need to check your notes or your answers, the answer binder is there. Happy solving, mathematicians.